Men of Reddit, what is the creepiest thing a girl has ever said or done to you? When I was in grade school, a girl snuck up behind me in gym class to sniff my butt. I caught her in the act and just felt gross. Woof. Someone I considered a friend started to grow feelings for me. But when she found out I had a girlfriend and I didn't feel the same for her, she found out who my girlfriend was somehow. She then DM'd her and tried to tell her that I was cheating on her with her and that I am a pedo. The friend was a couple of years younger than us. Luckily I was with her when she got that DM so I could explain the situation, and then we blocked her. Next day she DM'd her again from an alt account. Found out my address from the phone book. This was the 90s. Sat outside my house for multiple nights. All night just watching my house. I live in the middle of the woods miles outside of town. We only had one date and agreed to leave it at that. I found out sometime later what she had been doing. In my early 20s I was at a party and the hosting woman full on tried to reach down my pants to grab my dick. Strange? Yes. What made it creepy is that we were right in front of her mother, who was cheering her on. My ex got my name tattooed on her foot 3 years after we broke up. After 6 months from our breakup, my ex called me because she wanted to see me. It seemed strange to me but I accepted. When we met she was friendly and all. Then at a certain point she pulls a sheet in which there was written a list of all men she f'd after our relationship, and she read it all to me. With accurate description of every sexual intercourse. Well, it was an awkward moment. Doodle mayo, I'm just imagining you sitting there listening to the whole list like I probably should grab some milk on the way home. Not to me specifically, but my friend woke up with his pants off to a girl he had repeatedly rejected trying to get him hard. That was pretty creepy. Also, one of my old professors was stalked and harassed by his ex-girlfriend to the point where she was on a restraining order, and the last straw was when he got a new girlfriend. She straight up shot him in the chest and he barely survived by luck. Edit. JFC y'all. I know the first one was technically rape assault. My girlfriend at the time and I went to her friend's house for supper. Immediately after dinner the chick turned on PRN of some chick getting railed while another girl kept spitting on her. She looked at us and was like, "So, you guys into stuff like this?" We deliberated about 6 seconds and said, not so much," and left. Bonus points, this was a new friend of my GF's and the first time any of us had hung out. Welp. That's one way to ask for a three-way, I guess. I've had a girl create about 50 different Snapchat, Facebook, and Instagram accounts all to try to get me to friend her. Met this girl online and talked to her a bit. I did started to like her. Later found out that the pic she showed me of herself was actually a pic of her friend who had passed away due to cancer. Hung out with some friends and they brought someone I haven't met yet. We ended up hooking up. Right after she asked where the used condom was. She grabbed it and said she was going to throw it away. Walked past the trash and went upstairs. Needless to say I was pretty nervous about getting a call 9 months from then. I think I'm in the clear. Still creeped me out though. A woman I dated used to cuss me out while we were having sex. She would say, "You call that F-king? You limp-dicked mother F-ker. This is good PSSY. I wish I was you. You never had any better. FCK me like the WH Ray I am, or I'll FCK you in the ass. I hate your F-king guts. FCK me like you FCK your mother. I'll bet you know what your own tea tastes like after sucking dicks." It was kind of a turn on at first and it was almost like revenge sex. One time I started to laugh and she slapped me on the face hard enough to leave a handprint. She also came at that moment with the most demonic face I've ever seen. I stopped seeing her after that. I don't know what happened to her. Pretty sure you were F-king earlier me. I was going to head home after a night out and I was getting into my taxi, a girl jumped in after me. I asked what they were doing and she said, "I'm coming home with you." Nope. Taxi driver helped me and she got out the car eventually when I shot down her advances. Stalked me after I said I wanted to break up. She was batshit crazy. And they lived happily ever after. She thought it was suspicious a single guy had a female dog. She didn't want to be the side bitch. Asked me to dress up in military gear and to roleplay I was ARPing her. She timed this so that her dad was getting home. Jesus hibiscus Christ. Those are some gnarly daddy issues. Did y'all ever get caught the way she intended? Somehow got my number. Started texting me asking if I was going to Club X that night, which I was going to. Asked her where I knew her from. She started lying about us having hooked up the week before during a party where I did actually go to. I was like WTF, I didn't hook up with anybody there. But I started to doubt myself because I got pretty drunk then. She then started to tell all kinds of stories about how we met that didn't make sense at all. Decided to block her. Went to a different party that night. Found out it was an out-of-town friend of someone I vaguely knew. Who showed her my Facebook and she immediately began to stalk me. In primary school, West African country, there was this big girl everyone in the class feared. So one day we were submitting our assignments on the teacher's table so it got a little crowded. She grabbed my man parts. Looked at me and winked. I was super shocked but innocent. I didn't know what it meant or why she was winking after grabbing me. I didn't take it as a big deal but it took me a while to realize that she violated me. This didn't happen to me but when my dad was at sleepaway camp as a teenager. This girl had a crush on him so she snuck into his cabin and folded and reorganized all his clothes. Edit. I think I didn't make it clear but my dad didn't know her at all. That's relatively tame compared to the other stuff here. Not me. My dentist told me this story once. He was still studying to be a dentist and they would work free clinics often in the poor areas around the campus for prac requirements. A girl came in a few times to have some cavities filled and by the last session, he said, "Great. We're done. All your holes are filled," to which he apparently replied, in the chair giving him bad eyes, "Not all of them. Not so bad." But his wife, then serious girlfriend, was the dental assistant and he says the combination of location, situation and the circumstances creeped him out so much he nearly ran out of the office. Carved my initials into her arm. E. Being the f-king genius that I was flattered and married her. I was not a smart man. Edit. I'm not usually one for long-winded edits. But here we are. I've had quite a few people want to know more stories. Believe me when I say that I could probably write a book with some of the stupid stuff I've done during that marriage with relative ease. Asterisk. Sadly, many of them are quite uncommon and a few of them outright unique. I'd be a tad worried about outing myself. Asterisk. I do want to thank you all for the quips. Sharing one's own youthful stupidity is a nice grounding experience. Took my phone and sent the numbers of my mom and sister to herself. And used that as threat of blackmail. More f-ked up than creepy, but my high school girlfriend was just using me until her boyfriend got out of juvie and admitted such to me on the day her boyfriend got out of juvie. You probably dodge a bullet with that one. One of my exes called me one time crying and told me she was basically arped by 3 dudes on a school bus. One of my friends rode that same bus and confirmed that she did not in fact get arped by 3 dudes on that bus that day. This same girl also tried to ruin my next 2 relationships. She was crazy. I had a dream that you and I f-ked behind the dumpster and I can't get it out of my head. Come on. Let's go. And then she grabbed my dick as if she was going to lead me by the groin. Context. I was in high school and this girl was friends with my longtime girlfriend and everyone knew about our relationship. It was closed, monogamous, and exciting, and sweet. And this fake friend pulled the shitty. I was pissed. I didn't turn her in because who knows what she'd say I did to school admins, but I told my then girlfriend who cut her off forever. The bitch ended up expelled for bringing alcohol and cocaine on a school trip. Grabbed my crotch after I told her I am not interested. Then proceeded to tell me all guys want to smash. No thanks, I have a girl, and if I was single I want sober girls that don't smell like vomit. I swear to God no means no. I'm sort of a magnet for crazy girls. Or maybe it's just me, but the craziest thing a girl said to me was, I wish I could lock you in a cage and throw away the key so no one else can come near you. Just me. Sounds fake and insane but is incredibly true. Unfortunately, was with her for about a year and a half. She didn't lock me away, but anytime she found out I spoke to another girl, even if she was a co-worker, she would flip the hell out. She even forgot about the day we first met and proceeded to go mental saying I was talking about another girl, and she then blocked me on everything until she remembered everything again. Took her about an hour, I'd say. I was seeing this girl. Went out 3 or 4 times. Eventually got to SI times. And I brought a condom, but she asked me not to use it as she was on birth control. Few days later she called me crying, looking for me to console her. Turns out she was crying because she thought that she couldn't get pregnant because she was in fact not on birth control, and tried to time it right for her. Young me learned an important lesson about condoms that day, and I didn't speak to her again. Men, please do not let a woman saying I'm on birth control stop you from wearing a condom. 1. She could be lying too. I could kill you right now and no one would know. During an intimate moment, I suddenly remembered something I had to go and do behind a locked door. Edit. Now that this has attention, I feel I should clarify that in hindsight, this was likely a Call of the Void style thing. It might have been a reference. But if it was, it wasn't explained. I don't feel any ill will towards this girl now. But I was a bit worried back then. Edit. You guys have strange ideas of what I ran off to do. But keep guessing. No one's got it yet. I hooked up with a random girl after a party. And when I woke up at her house, her entire family was there for her graduation. She expected me to meet all of them. They were all hillbillies. And thought we were going to get hitched. This is common in Appalachia. If you come home with someone on the night of your graduation, you are considered betrothed. Dates back to pre-revolution times. There WAA, that one girl in uni that was quite the creep. She was in a real bad breakup and I stood by her as a friend. Not my type in every single way. Anyways, she was pregnant with her ex-boyfriend's baby. Our faculty had a party where she showed up. Wanted to drink and party, which everyone declining giving her alcohol. When nearly at the end of the evening she goes, you know, maybe you should say your future stepdaughter hello. She would appreciate your DCK when she is old enough. I was so disgusted that I said I had to take a piss and fled the scene, avoiding that woman like the plague. Met a girl at a corporate party with an open bar. She started off by being a touchier than I was comfortable with, and after having known her for all of 30 minutes she said, I want you to put a baby in me. Ryan. Bonus points. I'm not Ryan. Maybe not creepy in a sense, but it freaked me out. I'm in the school hallway. School's been over for an hour. But my mother works there, so I waited. I'm getting something from my locker. And this one girl walks up to me in the empty hallway, angrily looking, and takes my hand. And places it on her ass and goes, oh, so does this feel fake? I was 13 at the time. And the whole thing freaked me out for a while. I was at a pub in England. A drunk girl got obsessed with me. Then started asking about my junk. Then wanted to see said junk. It was all jokes until I went to go pee, and a few moments later she burst open the door to see my junk. Old building. Big girl, and sure the lock wasn't really up to date, so it's not like it took a lot of work. We were all drunk. But that tea scared me lol. My ex dedicated her 30-page final paper on me, going into great detail about how bad of an BF I was. We were exclusive for 2 months. I almost want to read what causes someone to write a 30-page final on someone. My partner at one of my first jobs was a woman who outweighed me by about 300 pounds. Our job was picking up litter and changing out trash bags at the local parks. When I'd bend over to pick up trash, she'd make comments about my ass. And sometimes bring up that I had a cute butt when we were alone in the truck. While I was working, she'd wait to see if my boxers showed at any point and then make an effort to memorize what color they were today. At one point another woman joined us for about a week. This one only outweighing me by maybe 100 pounds. She graphically described what a threesome between the three of us would look like and insinuated that we should pull over somewhere to make that happen. I felt incredibly uncomfortable. But no way in hell my foreman was going to dish tea about it other than make fun of me. Assuming he believed me at all. I met a girl from Boston that said when she was 13 she would get the condoms her stepdad used with her mom and use the contents inside as lube. Edit. I never want to read anything remotely like this ever again. Edit. Thanks for the awards. I never thought it would be on something like this. Had a girl tell me once while assisting how much she loved getting cut during sex. And had a fantasy of getting her nipples cut during sex and mixing her blood with my cum. And I was just like ooh, we'll see if we can work up to that. I don't really wanna f-king do that, but man, kinks are okay if she's consensual, I guess. Plus I hella wanted to smash, so I wasn't gonna outright say no lol. But then she started dating someone. Later on we were talking and the topic of sex came up and I asked her about that fantasy and she acted like she had never heard of such a thing and treated me like I was some weirdo for coming up with it. Man, how you gonna tell someone you like getting your tittles sliced open and forget about it? I sure didn't forget hearing it. When I was 19, a co-worker tried to set me up with her 15-year-old daughter. She faked being pregnant to stop me from breaking up with her. Every breakup after that I waited until my girl's period before breaking up with her. Having a crazy partner bargain with the life of your unborn child will FCK you up. Was on a costume party dressed as a piece of bacon and this drunk girl casually walks up to me, bites my nipple through the costume and continues to whisper in my ear, "Want a juicy piece of meat?" I probably stood there for a solid minute trying to figure out what just happened before getting the F out of there. I can't imagine how shitty-faced you would have to be to bite a MF wearing a bacon costume, LMAO. Grabbed my ass on the way out of the cafeteria. I didn't know who the hell she was because my high school was massive. So I just gave her a bewildered look and went on my way. Was more surprised that she was able to get enough material to grab onto. Went to a football game in high school to hang with some friends. They were heading to hang with some other friends behind the bleachers and I tagged along. We get there and everyone's saying their hellos and one of the girls I didn't know stuck out her hand. Almost as if going for a handshake. But instead of a handshake she grabbed my crotch and said, "Hey, nice to meet you," or something like that. Kept it there for like 5 seconds or so before letting go and everyone just moved on as if nothing happened. Personally I didn't care too much. I didn't feel like I was in any danger or anything. But it's still a creepy thing to do. My ex of less than a week climbed through my first floor apartment bedroom window. It was 2:30 AM and she was drunk. While climbing, one of her shoes fell off and she thought that it was another girl's shoe. She began to beat me with her shoe while yelling, "Whose shoe is this?" Full stop. Woke up and had to bear hug her, then carry her out to the front door and place her on the porch. I used to have an ex that would watch me sleep, and if she wanted attention during that time she'd wake me up by burning me with her cigarette.